You will need a FireWire capture card. Most modern PCs have them now, and you'll need a FireWire cable. There are two types. A 4-pin to 4-pin, mainly used for laptops to your camera, and there's a 6-pin to 4-pin, mainly used from PCs to cameras. Some DV cameras can be recorded back to, so when you have finished making your film, you can record it back on the DV tape. If your camera does not have an input, check on the internet for a widget. A widget will allow you to change the settings on your camera so you can record back to it. In some cases though, this might invalidate your warranty, so check before going ahead, or visit our website and ask for help. The design layout may look slightly different on Studio 7, 8 or 9, but they all have the same functions. We are using Studio 8 for this. At the top of the screen you will see Capture, Edit and Make Movie. Click on the Capture tab. We want to check the settings for this, so go down to the bottom right of the screen and click on Settings. A new window will open. At the top of this new window are tabs. Here it shows what capture device you're using. My computer only has a FireWire card listed, but people with webcams will have that showing as well. Normally the audio is on the same card as the video. The TV standard should be PAL for Europe or NTSC for America. Down at the bottom we have a choice to create thumbnails at certain points while capturing the footage. This can be very useful when looking for a scene to add to your film. For me, I normally use automatic based on video content. Click on the Capture Format tab at the top. There are three options to capture in. DV, this means the best possible quality but uses a lot of hard drive. MPEG, this means compressed but not so much hard drive space is used. And Preview, this means it will capture at very low quality, but when you come to render and make your finished film, the computer will ask you for the tapes back. Don't use this if you can help it. Try and use full quality. The frame rate should be 25 frames per second. This is what PAL uses. The audio is automatically set. You shouldn't need to deal with these settings ever again. Here is a pie chart showing how much hard drive space I have used and what I can use. The light blue is how much space I can use for my footage. I can change what hard drive I want to use. I have a few hard drives, because capturing footage at full quality takes approximately 1 GB for every 11 minutes of footage. You can also see a time. This is how much footage I can have on my hard drive in minutes or hours. I always capture with full DV quality. When you're ready, click on Start Capture and it will show you a new window where you can title the footage you're recording. The computer has given me 9 minutes cut-off time. If I had more hard drive space I could capture longer. Click Capture. You can stop at any time by clicking Stop Capture. The computer will then start your DV camera or player playing automatically, and up here in the corner you will see thumbnails of the scenes that you're capturing. Just under the preview window is a time of your footage that has been recording and how many frames are dropped. If any frames are dropped, restart the capture from the start and disregard that capture. Click on the Edit tab at the top and you will see loads of boxes under a preview window. This is a storyboard mode. Trust me here, don't use them. Instead, go under the preview window and click on the timeline button. The timeline gives you far greater control. The yellow line with numbers on it is your timeline. This is like a ruler but with time. On the left hand side you'll see a picture of a camera. This is a line where your footage goes. Under that is a speaker icon. This is where the sound from your footage goes. We will look at the other icons later. Now go up to the top of the screen and you will see the same type icons. Click on the camera icon and this will allow us to find the footage we want to use. You can use the drop down menu or you can use the file icon browse button. I've selected some footage I've made before. It's placed a single thumbnail picture here. Everything in Studio is drag and drop. So click on the thumbnail and hold the mouse button down and drop the thumbnail in the timeline. The whole of my footage is now in timeline and we can see it in the preview window. I can use the preview window player controls to watch the footage, or I can use the bar by holding the mouse button down and moving the bar left or right. This is called scrubbing. If you can see, the timeline ruler only goes up to 2 minutes 20 seconds, but my footage is 30 minutes. I want to see the rest of my footage. I'll place the cursor over the yellow ruler and hold the mouse button down and move left or right. This shortens and lengthens the ruler. I've now got my whole 30 minutes showing on the timeline. But this doesn't give me much control, and I want it bigger. So I move the bar at the bottom to move the timeline along without shortening and lengthening it. By pressing the mouse button once on the ruler, the scrubber bar will appear there and show that frame on the preview window. I can use the player controls to view the footage from that point. It's only jerky on this PC because I'm running other programs in the background. Make sure you don't have any other programs open. Below the video thumbnail in the timeline is the audio timeline. You can see a thin blue line there. If you click and hold on the mouse button on that line, you create a marker. You can move that marker up or down by holding onto the mouse button still. If you move it up, the louder the sound will be. The lower the blue line, the lower the sound will be. You can create another mark by doing the same thing, clicking and holding the mouse button. I can get more control by moving the timeline ruler further apart. This allows me to move the sound around within frames instead of seconds. The blue line is only affected up to the last or next marker. Say there is a tiny bit of sound I want to get rid of. I put a marker just before the sound I want to get rid of. Then I lower the sound line and make a final marker to bring the sound back up. When I play the footage, the sound goes away for those few frames. I want to cut something from my footage. I'm trying to get the scrubber on the first frame I want to delete, but it's too hard to get frame accurate using the scrubber, so I'll use the player controls under the preview windows. The two arrows up and down move the footage along a frame at a time. Once I've got the first frame, I will use this razor icon. This will make a cut at that frame. I've now got two thumbnails. The second thumbnail is the start of the new frame. Nothing really has changed except I've now got a split in between my footage. I'm moving the scrubber along to find the end of the frame I want to delete, and I'll click on the razor icon again. This has given me another thumbnail. If you can see the dotted lines going down, they are showing that this scene has been cut, but they still belong to each other. A solid line means there are two different scenes. Click on the middle thumbnail, the one we want to delete, and it highlights blue. Next to the razor icon is a dustbin. Click on the dustbin and that will delete the highlighted scene. We now have those solid lines there, and the computer has automatically moved the last thumbnail up so there is no gap in the footage. I want to add a simple dissolve into the middle of those. Go up to the icons at the top and click on the second one down. It looks like lightning. This brings up the transitions. Once you find the transition you want, drag and drop it into the middle of the footage. Let's just have a look in the preview window what this dissolve looks like. If you want to change the transition, you can drag and drop a different transition on top of the old one, or you can highlight the transition and click on the trash can icon to delete it. You can always use the undo feature in Studio. This allows you to go right back by clicking on it as many times as you need. I'm going to put another piece of footage on the timeline. Again, it's drag and drop. I could shorten this by doing the first and last frame cuts and deletes that we did earlier. Or I can double click on the scene and a new window opens. The new window tells me how long the footage is, where it starts from, where it ends and whereabouts it is now. My footage does not have any images, it's just grey. On the timeline, if I move the cursor onto the edge of the footage, in this case the solid line, the cursor turns into a double arrow. Click and hold the mouse button and you can move the length of the footage. The new window shows the bar moving. This is the last frame bar. I can play this footage from the time controls in this new window. Another way to shorten the footage is to move the bar itself. Here is another way to open and close that window. I'm moving the scrubber to where I want to add some titles. Go to the very top of the screen and click on Toolbox. Click on Create Title and you'll get two options, Title Overlay or Full Screen Overlay. I want to overlay titles. A new window will appear and it will show at the frame where I put the scrubber on. The red lines around the footage are safety lines, don't put your text over them. Click on the window and hold the mouse button down. Move the mouse and this will create a box for you to type in. If I want to change the font or style, I need to highlight the text I've just typed in. To do this, I need to click and hold the mouse button at the start or end of the text and move the mouse over it. This highlights it. On the right hand side are preset styles and colours. You can mess around yourself to find something you like. To change the font, click on the arrow pointing down and the text size is next to that. I can move the text by clicking on it and a box will appear around it. Drag the box where you want. If you want the text to scroll in sideways or up or down, here are the icons for that. Click OK when done. You now get a new thumbnail under the video timeline. This is your title in its own timeline. You can drag and drop this if you want to move it. The preview window shows the frame with the title over it. If you double click on the title thumbnail, you get a window that shows how long the title is on the screen for. You can do the same things as you did with the video footage. You can resize it, cut it, and even add transitions to it. You always need to click on the thumbnail to highlight it before doing anything to it. I've now made the title stay on the screen for over 9 seconds. I can use these arrows to adjust the time with more control, where I can click on the time and just input the numbers using the keyboard. I'll add a transition to the title. Same again, just drag and drop. Whilst recording this tutorial, my preview window doesn't show up sometimes, but yours will be fine. I can change the amount of time the transition is on by highlighting it and dragging the edges, just as we did with the video footage. I'm just deleting the old overlay title by using a trash can. A full screen title will appear on the video timeline, so you will need to select the thumbnail where you want the title to be. I'm making a cut here, and I want the title to go in between these cuts. Go to Toolbox and click on Create Title. This time click on Full Screen Title. Everything is the same as the overlay, except there is no picture behind. Now the title is on the timeline, the audio has gone from underneath the title, because the title has no sound. As with all the footage and transitions, we can make it longer by dragging it. We can still add transitions. I'll delete the last transition and I'll use the undo function. I'm now going to undo everything.